Imagine relaxing at home alongside your cherished dog, when it occurs to you that it would be a great idea to get some fresh air while letting your dog out in your backyard before going to bed. Only moments later, to suddenly see your whole life flashing before your eyes. Hit like and subscribe. This is Fierce. This is exactly what happened to Lee Ann Galante one fateful, seemingly normal Tuesday right outside her home in Butler Township, Pennsylvania, when a black bear viciously attacked her. Bear sightings aren't rare in Pennsylvania, but attacks sure are extremely uncommon. According to the Pennsylvania Game Commission, there have been only 1 or 2 bear attacks last year, and we can only think this is due to the bear population in the area rebounding dramatically, and they're trying to find new homes where they can. A few members of that bear population found their way into what can only be called a gruesome evening, right in Galante's backyard. It all happened unexpectedly, without any possible hint that there were bears, much less cubs, in the area. Lee Ann Galante was home alone on a Tuesday evening while her husband was still out, and thought it would be a good idea to let their Pomeranian, Smokey, outside. She opened the back door and remained inside, thinking nothing out of the ordinary could happen. Essentially, this was routine. Every night before bed, Smokey would run outside, do his doggy business, and return inside, unharmed. Perhaps as the weather was chilly that evening, Lee Ann thought to herself that she'd stay inside this time around. After all, what could possibly happen in your own backyard? What usually happens to be a normal activity turned into an ordeal and possibly the worst nightmare that Galante could think of. Soon after, the 8-pound Pomeranian was let out in Galante's backyard. While still inside, minding her own business, she heard her dog causing a commotion. Confused, Galante rushed to the back door and started to investigate. She didn't hear anything at first, but Smokey was still agitated. What could have happened? What could have made the small dog bark incessantly? All of a sudden, she sees something moving next to the bird feeder she had in her backyard. Then, her eyes set on what she never in her life would have thought she would see this close to her home, her sanctuary, and her safest place. 3 bear cubs climbing onto her neighbor's tree. With incredible speed and power, she saw 2 shiny eyes and a ferocious mouth coming toward her. It was the mother bear, jumping the fence that surrounded her backyard deck. In a matter of seconds, the black bear started running aggressively toward Smokey. "I'm thinking I cannot let my dog get eaten by this bear," Lee Ann told the news outlets. So she started anxiously shouting Smokey's name in the hope that he would run swiftly inside the home and be safe from the bear and her cubs. Unfortunately, this was far from what actually happened. As soon as Galante started calling her dog, the mother bear turned around as though she had been tapped on the shoulder by the 55-year-old woman. Rage filled the bear's eyes, and now her target seemed to change in a matter of moments. The bear lunged at Galante, throwing her to the ground, face first into the hard concrete of her deck, and then started to maul her on the back of her head. Lee Ann heard a loud crunch, and pain immediately started pulsing inside her mouth. "Not my teeth," she thought. The bear didn't seem to loosen her grip on the woman's head, while horrifying thoughts ran through her mind. "I just kept thinking, I can't believe this is happening. This can't be happening. I'm being attacked by a bear. I thought, this is it. I'm going to die." While in immense pain, Galante still searched for her dog's face, trying to see if he was hurt. All this time, Smokey, like the faithful dog he is, was still trying to distract the mother bear that attacked his beloved owner. Smokey was barking louder and louder, but it only seemed to make the bear even more furious. With an average weight of 175 pounds and a height of 5 to 7 feet when standing upright, the pressure Galante was under was unimaginable. Trying to make any sort of movement proved to be impossible. When the bear had loosened her grip a little and became distracted by Smokey, Lee Ann thought this was her chance to save herself and her dog. As she was trying to get out of the situation, the bear was getting closer and closer to Smokey, only to suddenly come back and knock Galante back to the ground, biting her left arm and trying to immobilize her prey again. However, Smokey wasn't the kind of dog to give up and let his owner become the bear's prey. He continuously tried to distract the gigantic animal's attention, until he finally succeeded. This was Galante's chance. She thought, she's ready to charge again and again. But what could only be called a miracle eventually happened. The 55-year-old woman and her dog Smokey managed to get inside the house, far from the bear and her cubs. However, now there was another obstacle that had to be overcome successfully: calling for help. Galante recalls that she had never in her life seen so much blood before, and while trying to stay alive, she crawled on the floor and got to the phone to call 911. "Someone please help me. Someone please help me." As I'm in the kitchen on the floor calling 911, I'm thinking, I don't want to know what the back of my head looks like, because I thought there would be nothing left to it. Fortunately, a police officer was nearby and quickly picked up the distress call for help. Smokey was still barking as loud as he could, and the 55-year-old woman tried as hard as she could to crawl to her front door, where the police officer finally saw her. The entire series of events unfolded over maybe 15 minutes. 15 minutes of complete horror, fear, and terror, but also 15 minutes during which a woman fought for her life with her faithful dog by her side. Lee Ann was rushed to the hospital while her dog ran upstairs and hid inside the home that, before 8:30 p.m. that evening, was his and Lee Ann's safe haven. Now it's the place where the worst thing imaginable that could happen happened. Galante suffered a broken nose and other broken facial bones, received several staples in the back of her head, and had bite marks on her arm, stitches in her upper lip, and a cut behind her ear, and numerous scratches and bruises. She is sore and swollen, she said, and her sinuses and cheekbones were affected as well, according to triblive.com. Smokey, however, managed to get away with just a few scratches on his back and a horrible memory. The only thought that remains is that this could have been so much worse. What happened to Galante was a miracle. She escaped death only by a few inches, and if her dog wasn't vehemently trying to protect her, she probably wouldn't have made it alive. In such a small town, with only a population of approximately 17,000 people, in an area stranger to bear attacks, one could only wonder what pushed the mother bear and her cubs toward Lee Ann Galante's backyard. After the event, because the mother bear continued with her aggression, she was euthanized. Her 3 small cubs, however, were later let go in Warren County, away from their capture site in Butler Township. Here, the hope is that they'll find an ideal habitat with plenty of food, water, and cover for them to live in, far away from any other backyard that could become a future target.